Hello everybody, this is going to be your pre-lab lecture for acid-base extraction. I'm going to get started by explaining who is doing this first and what weeks each group is doing it. Group A is going to start off this lab for the week of September 28th through October 2nd. And the following week, it's going to be Group B and Group C. Group C completely online. Group B will be in person. So this is going to be the week of October 5th through the 9th. Okay, let me show you your pre-lab page on Canvas. This is what your pre-lab page looks like. Make sure you read your lab manual, watch these two videos, watch this video I'm going to post, do your pre-lab notebook, complete your pre-lab quiz. Pre-lab notebook, you have to bring it to your lab. Without this, you can't do it. Remember, this has your procedure and you can't use your lab manual. Pre-lab quiz should be turned in before every Wednesday at 8 a.m. This is going to be your setup. I usually print out a picture of this, but just make sure you know what are the main parts of it. You still have to include it in your lab manual anyway, so it's helpful. These are the weeks. I explained this at the beginning of the video. Your post-op notebook due before every Sunday at 11:59, and this is the data that Group C is going to be using. Okay, let's get started with the PowerPoint. Separation of organic compounds by acid-base extraction techniques, my favorite, absolute favorite lab. Common methods for separation and purification. We have already seen recrystallization and chromatography, which involve adsorption, which is selective attraction. We're going to be doing something completely different to selective attraction now. We're going to be doing extraction, which involves the partitioning of compounds between two immiscible phases. Partitioning involves the difference in solubilities of substance in two immiscible solvents, which is now selective dissolution rather than selective attraction. Extraction, it involves selectively removing one or more components of a solid, liquid, or gaseous mixture into a separate phase. Liquid-liquid extraction, it is a very common method for removing an organic compound from a mixture. However, there are other types of extraction like acid-base extraction. Extraction solvent selection, super important. All of these are in your lab manual. I'm just going to go over some guidelines. Extracting solvent must not react in a chemically irreversible way with the components of the mixture. It must be immiscible with the original solution, should be readily separable from the solute, and it must readily remove the desired component from the solution being extracted. Now you can go over these in your lab manual because they're there. I just got it from your lab manual and I put them on the PowerPoint because it is super important to know that solvent selection for extraction is very important, just like it was for recrystallization and just how it was for column chromatography. Acid-base extractions, we're going to be focusing on separating a mixture containing an organic solid, an organic base, and a neutral compound. Carboxylic acid is going to be benzoic acid. And it is insoluble in water, but it is highly soluble in organic solution. It can be selectively isolated by dissolving the mixture in an organic solvent that is immiscible with water and then extracting the solution with sodium hydroxide. Basically, what we're doing is we're going to deprotonate benzoic acid with sodium hydroxide. Benzoic acid is water insoluble. So deprotonating it with sodium hydroxide is going to turn it into sodium benzoate, which is water soluble. Sodium benzoate is a salt and cannot be separated from an organic layer. The aqueous layer acidifies with hydrochloric acid, causing sodium benzoate, which is our salt, to convert back to a carboxylic acid. The carboxylic acid is not soluble and it precipitates. So basically right here with HCl, what we're doing is we're protonating the salt to convert it into benzoic acid. Organic base. Amines are insoluble in water and can be separated by extraction with hydrochloric acid. It produces an ammonium salt, which is soluble in water. We will use 3-nitroaniline and protonating it with HCl. As you can see here, we're doing a protonation from not being water soluble to being water soluble. 3-nitroaniline can be recovered from the aqueous solution by treating with a base, converting the ammonium salt back to the amine. Amine is not soluble in water and it will precipitate. The objectives for this lab, we're going to separate a mixture containing benzoic acid, 3-nitroaniline, and naphthalene. Naphthalene is going to be the neutral compound. Benzoic acid is going to be our organic solid, and our base is going to be 3-nitroaniline. Okay, we're going to be calculating the percent recovery of each component in the mixture, and we're going to measure the melting point, the melting temperature of each isolated compound. So you should include these objectives in your purpose, your notebook. Your notebook should include your percent recovery for your pre-lab calculations and post-lab calculations. For changes, there's going to be no melting point. I know I said there's going to be a melting point here for objectives, so just add it into your purpose, but in changes, put no melting point. Include the chart in back of your lab manual for acid base. I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit, and explain data analysis and post-lab questions in detail. I've been getting a lot of emails about this. You guys have to make sure that your post-lab questions are answered very detailed and very thorough. We need to make sure that you guys understand what you're doing, and your post-lab questions are really good to explain your conclusion or discussion or your purpose for the lab. They really, really help. So if you guys want to get those questions done, you definitely can, like ahead before you do your purpose. But more than anything, we just want to know that you guys are doing it right. So it is 20 points worth of your lab manual. Your lab manual is worth 40 points. So it is pretty heavy on your lab manual. So make sure you get those questions correct. Okay. Now, this is the chart in back of your lab manual. This is going to help you guys in lab so much. So please make sure you guys add this one. You can maybe add it after your procedure, and that is completely fine with me. You can just print this one out. You don't really have to type it, print it out, bring it in for lab, and that is fine with me. It's just going to facilitate the procedure so much more for you. And let me see. Let me go to group C. This is going to be your data. Like I said, you need to find percent recovery. And right here, your data is included. So you just make sure you calculate for your percent recovery and you should be fine. Okay, that's all I have for this lab. If you guys have any questions, please email me or send them to the group me. And that is it.